Buds of Sombra was really what was pulling the trigger against Atlanta Academy, and they could not figure it out. And so now that Team Envy is going to be on Sombra this time around, I wonder if Atlanta Academy have figured out how to deal with it, as Jaru hasn't been as effective. We saw a little bit of that Sombra, a little bit of it last map, but Jaru kept dying a lot.
Jaru did die a lot, and he might do it more this time around because, hey-yo, not only do we have Mr. Beat Boot, but the safety egg Hawk this time on the Reinhardt, with Gata picking up the Orisa, currently shielding Sugar Freeze Torbjorn turret. So I suppose the answer was just more hammer?
Oh, more hammer's always good, right? MC Hammer's a great example of that. Atlanta Academy are going to have to rotate, though, and this Kinder Egg of a Bastion, it's like you get through the chocolate, you get to the egg, and there's a Bastion inside. That's terrifying. Team Envy, though, they're trying to figure this thing out. This is probably not something that they've seen in a while, but Atlanta Academy are known to throw some shenanigans away in this assault map type. Team Envy, looks like they might have actually figured it out.
Surprise! Oh, the death ball still so strong in today's meta. You see the speed with which they got on top of Perfect, turned around 180'd, and then suddenly there's Zarya salad.
Zarya salad. That's not something I think I'd ever want to eat. I think there'd be too much fiber in it.
Oh.
And Atlanta Academy did not hold up on that first point. There's over 6 minutes left for Team Envy to grab the second one. The good news for Atlanta Academy, no one has ultimates on Team Envy. They lost that so quickly. Team Envy aren't going to have that steamrolling potential coming into B, but they're going to try.
And I might have to eat my words with that swapping to goats on point B, because Atlanta Academy sticking to their guns, or their hammers as it were, and I love it. This is such a difficult composition to assail when you're running Reinhardt goats, because how do you actually get up there? The only thing that can really touch Perfect would be a deep. Oh man!
You get up there, I guess, by just walking there.
Okay.
And so they walked up there. They got 3.5. They got 3.5 kills. We're gonna kind of half on that Torbjorn turret. Team Envy does have an Earth Shatter, but are they gonna need this? Is this gonna be a one and done type of push? The answer is yes. I wonder what they talked about at halftime, because they came in and they absolutely crushed it. Atlanta Academy might be kicking themselves in the behind a little bit because of that team comp.
Okay, so this is the second time I've eaten my words. Maybe I should just use different words.
You said you were hungry.
I am. Oh man, I am starving right now. Almost as, hungry as Elivote was, apparently, all those eat and grabs. But Atlanta Academy. So, okay, here is the history of the Bastion composition on Horizon Lunar Colony. We have seen it time and time again. We actually even seen it in Contenders just last week. And the reason that it's so difficult to get to, or to break rather, is you're pumping so much damage out before the enemy death ball can get within range. Goats is melee range. You have your real only long distance damage is your Zenyatta. So, and that is not going to be enough to cut through an Orisa shield and make up for all of the damage that a Bastion will pump into your own team. So Atlanta Academy had a good setup right there. Potentially they just weren't expecting the speed. They even had an Ana to anti-nade the entire Envy death ball, but Atlanta Academy, I'm just going to say, maybe getting a little bit too greedy. They set up the Orisa on the opposing catwalk. So trying to cover both of those chokes both ways that Envy could have gotten onto point B, and in doing so, they really, I wouldn't even say but like reduced the effectiveness of that defensive setup by like 70%.
Where'd you get that number?
Out of my head.
I'm the numbers guy. Team Envy is going to start out this defense doing the tried and true Goats composition. Matter, if you don't know what to get at a restaurant, just go Goats. Atlanta Academy going to be running a couple different things, maybe. We're definitely going to be seeing this Winston. Winston's very good point A on attack on Horizon Lunar Colony. So we're just going to see Winston Goats.
Winston Goats is one of my favorite flavors of Goats, though. All right, ate my words 3 times.
Me too, though. I'm part of this buffet.
Yes, and it's delicious. Team Envy, they have Trill on the Reinhardt. No surprises really here. Occasionally we do see the Winston on defense as well. You can use that verticality, that mobility, but it will be a slobber knocker fest on the objective itself once Atlanta Academy actually get within distance of that point. Right now they're just looking for the rotations, looking to see if Envy are going to give them any opportunities through any overextensions or overinvestments.
Yeah, some ring around the rosy right now. Everyone's moving in circles but not coming together. But let's see if Atlanta Academy are going to be able to keep Gator up high. Yes, the healing is there. Trill is knocked onto the low ground. And Elivote, though, getting the kill onto Ajax. Might still keep for this attack for Atlanta Academy. They got a little bit of time. They don't need to force this right now. Let's get some ult charge and try again.
Trill 60% up to that ultimate. So right now the fight is in Atlanta Academy's hands. They're the ones who have to put some pressure on the point, or they're just never going to cap it. Take the graceful way out, the free all expenses trip paid back to respawn.
Oh, at least it was free. Team Envy looking good on this defense so far. Atlanta Academy are going to have a Transcendence. They're coming up on those ultimates, and that's when the real fighting begins with these GOATS comps. It's funny because once you have the ultimates, usually they don't come out with kills, but that's when the nitty-gritty of the cooldowns and the management really comes into play, is how you respond to those ultimates. And Saucy is going to wait for a Graviton Surge, most likely, to use that Transcendence. They are finding each other right now. Team Envy maintaining their presence on the high ground, but they're going to go ahead and drop down and challenge Atlanta Academy and keep them from coming through this choke. This is actually a very, very sketchy position for the attacking team, because if for some reason Gator's shield drops, that Earthshatter is going to knock everyone onto the ground, but no, they're going to try a different way, and Ring Around the Rosie continues.
Yeah, even if the Shatter doesn't come through, Fisher has the grab and he wants to use it, but Envy again rotate onto the high ground. Now they drop.
Well, I think they rotated onto the high ground because that's where they expected Atlanta to be. As the Earthshatter is going to knock Ellie onto the ground. Self-destruct is there. Gets moved back a little bit. No kills. Team Envy do have a Transcendence as well. Are they going to be able to save Trill with it? Yes, they are. And finally, Trill's going to get saved in time. We haven't seen that in a little bit as a pin comes through from Gator. Self-destruct is going to grab Fisher. So this is a 6v5 for Atlanta Academy. And now the rest of the kills come through. This is how GOATs work. One cog goes away, the rest will too.
It is that falling Jenga tower for Team Envy right there. Luckily, they still have Fire's sound barrier, but Atlanta Academy playing a patient but well-developed game right there. Reacting very well to what Team Envy throwing their way. Just to, you know, touch upon your previous point, Boop. Once the ultimates come out, you're not necessarily just looking for those kills, but you're testing the reaction time of the enemy team. If you're able to hold on to more ultimates while spooking them into using more of theirs, specifically here, Fire's sound barrier, that's kind of Team Envy's only savior for this defense.
Sugar Freeze Rally is going to tell Team Envy that the attack is on. Is Trill going to get that kill? 6v5. That's maybe a quick reset from Atlanta Academy, but no, Trill's going down. This is now a 5v5, but defense response means Trill will be back in no time. Saucy did invest that Transcendence, so they will not have it with a full 6-member team until he gets it again.
Fissure, he has the grab, just a sliver of health, and he manages to stay alive, but it will be Perfect who pulls the trigger first.
Perfect pulls the trigger first, and then Fisher's going to do it later. Is it going to find anything more? Hawk actually going to get the teammate onto Ellie, but Gator low, now taken down. This is still pretty even, and an even fight is going to be on the side of the defense. Ellie low, taken down. Jari's off, but the rest of Team Envy picking up some slack. This Atlanta Academy, though, keeping themselves on this objective. There's only 3 members of Team Envy, 3 members of Atlanta Academy left.
Yep, so now it's the dance, the ring around the Rosie, pocket full of not a lot of ultimates, as Perfect does go down right there. Oh, he was so high energy. Unluckily, he didn't quite have enough members of Atlanta Academy left there. Trill was very alone for quite a long time, and it could have been an opportunity for Atlanta Academy, but their next go-around should still be quite strong.
Saucy did get up to another Transcendence, so that overinvestment is going to be nullified by the fact that he's got another one. Team Envy are now going to have a self-destruct and rally to work with. Self-destruct's a really great stalling tactic if they need to wait for some ultimates to come. Self-destruct's a really great way to get some of that charge. Atlanta Academy will maybe have a Transcendence to escort them on, but the rally has come online, so that's going to be what they choose to use, as both Briggs are going to Jinx Yuomi Koke each other and use that rally at the same time as Trill going down very early. Earthshatter coming from Gator, not going to knock anyone onto the ground. Perfect using that Graviton Surge. 4 members of Team Envy locked within that unwilling hug. Now the sound barrier is here. Trill will be back. So this is going to be a 6v6 for both teams. So no, Jaru's going to keep this a 6v5 for Team Envy. Atlanta Academy haven't used their Transcendence just yet. They also have a self-destruct.
They're going to have to give up a tick right here, waiting for the full 6 re-engage. Even if Fisher lands the Graviton Surge of the Sentry, Saucy will have Trans, and actually Fisher cut down to the prime of his life. No opportunity.
Earthshatter from Trill, not going to find anyone. Saucy using that Transcendence to counter it just in case as Ellie gets demech. The pin is going to miss. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, as Trill's going to find himself in a terrible position. And with a little bit more than 2 minutes left, Atlanta Academy are fiending for this point.
Yes, big anti-nade though will help take Saucy down, but there's just only one tiny frog and his grandmother left on the point. With the Ana down, Trill's charge not going to be quite enough, even though he does catch Gator. So Team Envy will have to go to yet another round here on Horizon Lunar Colony, but Atlanta Academy doing quite well there on their own attack.
And so there's more time on the side of Team Envy. Almost a full 6 minutes. That's what it looks like when you take both points in one push. Atlanta Academy, that's what it looks like when you take both points due to good team play. And so there's going to be less time, I think, inherently due to that play style at points for Atlanta Academy, who are very good on Assault. They lost Assault for the first time ever in the finals last season. Sky Foxes were able to take Assault off of them in their first game, but history tends to repeat itself. Atlanta Academy know how to do this thing.
They just gotta stick to their guns again, play a disciplined game. So I'm gonna be an old person and talk about the old Team Envious. They were actually with, Coco on the Reinhardt, Chips, Harry Hook, Tymo back when he, was playing. But Team Envy was actually well known for their very calculated Reinhardt playstyle, which Gator personally isn't known for, but Atlanta Academy in that last attack kind of showed snippets of that same flavor. So you're not going to be going for risky charges. You're not going to be, using your cooldowns to try and confirm kills per se, but rather you're just using them to set yourself up for a better position in the next engagement. Bait out some cooldowns, bait out some ultimates from your opponents, who ironically this time around are Team Envy. So Atlanta Academy, while they only have about 2 minutes here, as long as they play slow, steady, and disciplined, they have a shot.
So Atlanta Academy going to attack once again. They know what worked last time. They're going to try it once more. Team Envy going to make sure they put up a little bit more fight on this first point, because they want to set themselves up with success with that massive time bait that Team Envy has. Atlanta Academy are, again, just also for position, then they have made it onto the objective, and now the rest of Team Envy are going to go ahead and jump down, Fire getting that kill onto Sugar Free. There's less than a minute and a half, but now the trades are going on. This is not good for the defense, especially since Crimzo is going to be unable to get to that Transcendence if Atlanta are able to grab this first point. And so Team Envy functioning without that Zenyatta, without that Discord orb, but Atlanta functioning without that mech onto Hawk. So that ultimate charge is going to have to wait once more. Trill going to get her back, and now Atlanta Academy are going to have a minute to try again.
Yes, so not out of the rounds of possibility. Saucy will have the trance again, at the very least, to buy more time. Team Envy, though, not going to have that Transcendence, but plenty of tank ultimates to make openings themselves.
Are they going to be enough, right? You can make an opening, but sometimes the opposing team closes it so quickly it leads you into a path of destruction. And so Team Envy don't want to be destroyed. They want to destroy Atlanta Academy, who have a Transcendence, and they're so close to those ults. So if they're able to get a pick early on here, they will maintain their advantage until Atlanta Academy evens it up. No pick for Team Envy. Those are hard to find here. In goes the volley or orb of destructions. How you do is Gator going to use that Earth Shatter, knock Trill and Fire onto the ground. Will Trill survive? Saucy's going to have to invest that Transcendence. Trill does not survive. Gator going to get a triple kill onto Team Envy. Atlanta Academy are smelling this point.
Oh yes, and Crimzo, though, smelling a point B Transcendence as he wisely holds onto that ultimate for the later fight. Well played by Atlanta Academy. Thought that Team Envy might be the ones taking the initiative to drop that shatter, but, Gator,
nice
he was like, I'm done being calculated, okay? I'm done being passive.
And so, no more passivity from Gator. That's a triple kill. It definitely helps when everyone's in a Graviton Surge as well. But they're going to be walking in here with a Rally and a Sound Barrier, but they're walking into a Transcendence and a Sound Barrier of their own. The way that these Earth Shatters go, we'll probably see 2 of them by the end of this fight from each of these Reinhardts. As Gator gets close to another one, Self-Destruct has come out. Nothing from Hawk. Team Envy is going to use that Earth Shatter, get no one from Atlanta Academy. Fire, was he stunned out of that Sound Barrier? It looked like he might have been. Team Envy wasting a couple ultimates on this defense. That's really good news for Atlanta Academy, who were able to grab a tick and also very close to a second one pretty much for free. Atlanta Academy are going to get close to some of their ultimates. Saucy with the Transcendence will really make a power spike for them in this fight. Fisher using that Graviton Surge, but Saucy had the Transcendence at the ready.
Yes, and now Shatter only going to be finding Fissure, but that's enough. No more Zarya means no more damage, no more bubbles. And Atlanta Academy, having struggled so hard in their first round, will now finish out Horizon Lunar Colony once again.
They're showing their stuff on Assault. We said it a little earlier. They have an amazing record on Assault, only losing that map twice ever in their history. And so We're seeing that here. Team Envy, though, with 6 minutes. That's a ton of time. That's way more time than you would start with normally. Can definitely do this again. So we're in a situation now where we're most likely, I think, going to see a third round here on Horizon Lunar Colony.
I think it might just happen, Boop, but we've had to eat our words before. So Team Envy, again, both of these sides actually playing so strongly that, honestly, if they just quote-unquote keep playing their game, they should have a chance. Although Team Envy, they have an opportunity to switch things up because, again, attackers' advantage. Atlanta Academy have to just guess what defensive composition can best react to what Envy bring out of spawn. That's usually going to be goats. But Envy have the opportunity to swap things up. Elivote, why don't you pull out the Mei again? This is actually one of the first maps where we saw Mei gain a lot of traction again.
Yeah, Rascal was playing it. That was awesome.
Yep. So Jaru, I don't know if he's going to stick with the Sombra beyond this first scout, but Atlanta Academy have proven very weak to an excellent Sombra in the past from Skyfoxes. So this could be a good look.
Jaru hasn't proven yet that he's an excellent Sombra, however, as he died first a lot when he did leave spawn with it. Is just going to be investment in time. Looks like most of the team's actually leaving. Are we going to see this? Crimzo is on Moira. The Coalescence is a really great way to get some up-tempo play. Are they going to stick with it? Maybe expecting a Sombra on the other side. Nope. Crimzo's going to go ahead and go for that Zenyatta.
You can't discount the power of a Discord Orb. You're going to hand the enemy team a big advantage if you don't run a Zenyatta yourself. And already Gator getting put so low. That's the purple balloon of death above his head. Can he get cleansed by Perfect? Looks like he will stay safe for now.
Hey, Gator using the high ground to make sure that the bullets from above weren't going to hit him is a really heads-up play, but Trill going to get a Fire Strike kill onto Sugar Free, but Fisher going down. It might be a little bit more valuable for Atlanta Academy. Team Envy now have 5 members, a little bit more than Atlanta Academy now that Gator is down on the objective, but trades are still happening, but Team Envy are in control.
Yeah, it was that very early aggression from Gator that kind of put him at risk. He has 95% to Earth Shatter, but he's not going to be able to use it because he's nowhere near the point. So that's the kind of risk reward that you get from those kinds of decisive engagements. Atlanta Academy, though, going to be very comfortable for this point B defense, which they definitely had in the back of their minds. We've talked about how Envy likes to think, 5-6 steps ahead. Well, Atlanta Academy, we can say the same for this team.
Well, they could have played that first point a little bit more patiently, actually, knowing that they have a second point to work with. It's harder to attack, but Atlanta giving that up for free, putting all of their marbles on this second point. Atlanta Academy, 3 ults, 4 ults to their name. Team Envy will have 6. So they're coming in. The snowball is a huge potential. Earthshatter going to knock 2 onto the ground from Team Envy, but no kills there. Team Envy going to invest that Transcendence to escort the rest of the team onto the objective, making sure that Team Envy have an opportunity to grab these kills. Now that Elivote has used that self-destruct, the charge was onto the Reinhardt, but everyone was alive thanks to that sound barrier. Team Envy is going to keep fighting this. Fire is going to use the sound barrier, keep everyone alive on this point. They've got a ton more time, so why not invest everything here? Because you're even with Atlanta Academy right now. You just got to get that kill. Hawk is going to be the first victim, getting that mech. Team Envy need to finish things off, but no, they're going to pull out just a little bit, and Trill's going to get isolated from it. Good boop to try to get Trill back into the rest of the team, and that's exactly what happened. Trill was in a precarious situation, but some good heads-up play from Fire, making that a little bit better for them. Now Jaru's going to use the rally. Atlanta Academy struggling to stay alive.
Perfect's grab will be their savior if he can use it, and there are people around. He has to drop it right now, but the self-destruct will still zone everyone away. Wrecking Ball in, though, for Saucy, but only that. And now the trickles coming in for Atlanta Academy. It's only a matter of time before Team Envy clean things up. They want as big of a time bank as they can get. 3 minutes, 40-something seconds.
And so Team Envy doing what Atlanta Academy pretty much did on their second push, but now we're done with round 4. We're going to enter round 5, and one team is only going to get a chance to attack. So as well as Atlanta Academy have played all the game so far, getting 4 points, which is nothing to scoff at, Team Envy are going to be the only ones that are going to get a chance for a map victory here.
Exactly. The best Atlanta Academy can hope for is a draw here. So Nobody yet taking the lead at 1-1. Team Envy have the opportunity. Really good stuff right there. Focus fire again, the communication. I believe it was Perfect who was actually isolated away from Atlanta Academy in the mini pack area in that last fight. Trill, the reason that he was getting bopped and booped was that the two members of Atlanta Academy still alive on the point were focusing him down very hard, but in the meantime, the rest of his team was taking away Atlanta Academy's Zarya, their only real shot at any kind of damage. So then they rebound back, clean things up, and that was a pretty clean fight for Team Envy. Atlanta Academy gonna give the Torbjorn yet another shot. I don't know about this one, Boop.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, Team Envy were able to walk right through this, one fight each on both points, and that's why we're here with 3.5 minutes on their third push. And so, Team Envy know exactly what they need to do. Just one tick with 3 minutes and 38 seconds now on the clock.
Yes, so Envy, again, they can use that time bank they have to work up to those fight-ending ultimates. They don't need to take every engagement, just the best ones that they feel most comfortable with. Use a dowsing rod. Not really feeling this right side flank.
What are your crystals telling you?
Yes, exactly.
And so Team Envy listening to those crystals, you know.
Communing with nature.
Communing with nature,
Not much to be found on a moon
yeah,
station.
especially in space. A little bit of nature. There's some grass there. Team Envy.
Space potatoes.
Space potatoes are the great potatoes of the world.
We're in space.
We're in space, so we've got to be quiet. And so now they're just waiting for the best opportunity to go through these doors, and they're going to try to flank there, but Atlanta Academy knew exactly where they were. Are they going to go towards the right side, potentially through the objective, because that means that Arissa's going to either have to drop down and join the rest of the fight. Now that Sugar Free's turret is down too, there's a little bit of an opening for Team Envy to try to take this first point, which they already have almost taken, and they have forced Atlanta Academy's hand. Great pin onto the Bastion. Hawk did get a kill onto Elievote, but that don't matter. Team Envy are finding themselves on top in this fight. The Earthshatter's only going to find Sugar Free because that's all you need. No. You know, he's on a diet, you know?
Sugar.
Oh, he's not on a diet. That's how it was. He wants a sugar.
Yeah, exactly. He likes that pure cane sugar, right? Oh, man. I just feel that. Solo shattering a Torbjorn for all those times that you get hammered to death in your games. I feel it. All right, I feel that, Trill.
Trill was feeling it as well. Suspect choice on that team comp, especially since it failed so miserably the first time. Failing miserably again the second time, but hey, I like your moxie, Atlanta Academy.
Yeah, they're always keeping things interesting. They got to stay on brand. Remember, Atlanta Academy, back when Dogman was on the team, was one of the first pioneers in Symmetra teleportation technology. Used it quite often on Hanamura last season. So, you know, you never quite know, but to Envy's credit, you saw Trill, he had 71% up to the Earthshatter. Again, he kind of just, you know, left his team. I trust you, young ducklings, go out and, you know, flourish. He himself went on a whole point flank, charged the Bastion out of that Orisa bunker, and that's just some good stuff right there. Even if he didn't get the kill, he would have built up Shatter in that duration and then been in some wacky place where he always is, lays down the Shatter from some crazy angle, and you know,
when he dies, he's usually in a wacky place as well by himself, because if there's a Reinhardt that can 1v4 a team, it's Trill. And so now that we're going to go into match point for Team Envy, we're going to be going to Junkertown as possibly the decider. The one team's looking for a Game 5, and that's Atlanta Academy. And I just feel like as time has gone on, Atlanta Academy has just been a smidgen, as you like to say, slower on the trigger than Envy. Just the play styles right now are complementing Envy's victory.
Envy play an aggressive style. Atlanta Academy used to be known for that same aggressive style, but they have had some, not just hero swaps, but role swaps, with Saucy now on the flex support, and of course they are now playing without Dogman, who is a deciding factor in many of those aggressive fights, able to open up the map with a, you know, cross map volley and a kill.
Nambani last season, I'll never forget.
Essentially saved point 8 by himself. It's crazy. So those are kind of the considerations that Atlanta Academy now have to take into consideration when they're metering their tempo and when they decide to take these engagements. And unfortunately, they're playing Team Envy today, who haven't given them the opportunity.
But they were able to grab King's Row. Atlanta Academy not out of this yet. Team Envy up 2-1 on our potential decider of a map, which is Junkertown. Just to remind everyone, this is for Envy to stay the only undefeated team in Group B. So they have to claim their place right now against Atlanta Academy, and that's been tough, you know, for other teams in the past. But right now, Envy looking strong. 3 pushes, 3-point A's for them on the last point.
Just don't get too fancy. Not too fancy, just fancy enough.
Don't overthink it.
Right, exactly. Because we cannot forget their loss to Atlanta Academy in round 4 on Kings Row, when they seemed to have every advantage in the book, every ultimate in the book, running quad DPS as they were. So I'm not quite sure if this will be the composition with Elivo on the Bastion, but I wouldn't be surprised. This is still a very strong composition, nay, one of the OG compositions on Junkertown. Protect the president. Or actually, rather, I eat my words for the, 17th time. Fissure is on the Orisa, so it's the safety egg.
Safety egg not going to last very long. Elivo pushing it through that damage, and so I like the Bastion at the beginning here, especially since teams are pushing so close. It's a really great way to push the defense back just based on the character that you are. Elivo already at 70% on that charge, and so Atlanta Academy are only going to take about 10 seconds off of this push, but Team Envy now have a decision to make. Elivo has that ult. Are you going to keep her, or are you going to keep them on this Bastion?
I wonder if Fissure's original Orisa pick was because they thought there might be a Sombra on the field, so you can protect the Bastion a little bit more easily with 2 shields functioning, of course, but this time around, you might have a little bit more value from the Brigida. Fissure already 75% up to the rally, so not a bad choice at all. Saucy with the Moira, expecting maybe a Sombra is going to hamper his team a little bit.
Take mode initiated from Team Envy. Beat to the boop, back to spawn. Perfect, gonna take Elivo down. Gator getting saved by the Coalescence. Saucy using that to great value. Team Envy investing that rally into this fight. Sharp does have a Graviton Surge. I'd probably hold on to that until my team's back.
Yeah, undoubtedly, Team Envy are going to back off for now. The reason that I said that the Moira pick maybe not as good as the Zenyatta is because Discord Orb, again, not just good for burning HP pools, but shredding shields as well. So Trill might have a bit of an advantage.
Gator gonna get bursted down. No, the particle barrier, the ally bubble, saving him for the time being. But Gator is gonna go down. It was written in his destiny at that point. Atlanta Academy are gonna lose out on this defense, but the invested Transcendence into Crimzo might have been a little bit of an overinvestment, but they are gonna be able to grab this first point potentially, unless Atlanta Academy put on some zoomies and make it back to the payload.
Definitely an overinvestment. Perfect was already out of the fight. No potential for a grab. Gator dead as well, so no shatter. Crimzo himself may have been put under pressure, but even if you die as a Zen, at this point in the map, you will be able to rejoin your team.
Zoomies were initiated as they were unable to secure that. Oh no!
Oh.
Zoomies initiated, and now dying is initiated. At least they went for it, right? Moxie gives you some, consolation points, but this means that Team Envy are going to have such great positioning here in Streets phase, which is so good in terms of momentum.
Atlanta Academy have, condolence points, but Team Envy have ultimate points. 4 online, Sharp 70% up to that grab, which will be a big decider here. Atlanta Academy, they can hold on the catwalk, but that will mean that they give up a considerable more amount of distance than they might really want.
So they're going to go ahead and drop from the high ground. Gator going to be initiating here. The Earth Shatter is in his back pocket. Self-destruct. Earth Shatter combo was attempted, but the Earth Shatter coming the other way was a little bit better. Trill going to knock 4 onto the ground. Will Atlanta Academy survive? It's going to be much harder when everyone from Team Envy is popped up full of health and shields. The momentum continues for Envy.
A little bit odd bomb placement from Hawk. We actually got to watch it as it exploded very far back and very high. A little unusual from, one of those diva masters that we've come to expect here from Atlanta Academy. So maybe getting a little bit out of system, not quite, playing at the tempo that they would really like, because Team Envy are making an incredible time bank here. 4 minutes, 20 seconds left, and still 3 ultimates to their name.
Is it going to be enough? We've seen things go back and forth before. Teams lose with ultimate advantage, 30 to 40% of the time. That's way too high. Atlanta Academy now is going to use that rally, try to get themselves back onto the payload to defend itself. Self-destruct is going to go up and is going to land on top of the Graviton Surge, and Elivo going to get that triple kill. That is a team effort there.
Oh, yes, and but what wasn't a team effort, Saucy popping the trance in the middle of all of that, maybe wasn't expecting the boop coming in from Envy. That allowed for those 3K to come through. That's, oh man, because while Sharp is only 20% to the grab right now, he is going to have it in no time. Already positioned on the high ground, shelling down on the heads of Atlanta Academy, and they're really, really going to want the trans for this next fight.
They might be kicking themselves indeed. Fisher has rally and no one else is close. Looking at Atlanta Academy, they're going to come onto that Earth Shatter very, very quickly, and then they might, Team Envy's going to be very susceptible to whatever comes their way, as Ellie, trying their darndest to make sure that Reinhardt has to work for his team. Ellivo going to get stunned and then back to spawn. Team Envy not going to feel too bad about this, as they made it past the corner. This is where point 3 Junkertown really starts, though.
Oh, it's very difficult to push around that corner. You have to, so you can go underneath in this Mega Pack room rather than the loop around, but you have to first push the payload there. And now that Envy has had to back off, they will lose a bit of distance on the cart, so they may have to go the long way. And that means you can't only win a single good fight, but you must string together 2 or 3 in order to finally put the payload in that point C. Atlanta Academy don't want that to happen, and they got the means to do so. The full 6-pack up for our defenders.
Earth Shatter, good particle barriers coming from the Zarya. The cooldowns aren't going to be there anymore, and that's why Sharp goes down to the self-destruct. Didn't have that self-bubble because he used it for the Earth Shatter.
Unlucky right there. Atlanta Academy expending everything but the 2 support ultimates in that fight. Could have been a bit of an overinvestment because Team Envy used nothing. A clean win for Atlanta Academy, but again, you also have to think about what that means across the aisle. Now Envy will have the decided advantage moving into this next fight. As long as they can find some value from the 3 tank ultimates that they have, they're going to be in a pretty good position.
All right, Team Envy not in a good position right now with Fisher going down early. Atlanta Academy have a 65 for this defense. There's still a minute and 40 seconds left on the clock for another push. Eliva will not have a self-destruct for it, but hey, that D-Mech onto Hawk is kind of nice.
It is going to buy Envy a little bit more time, but Elivote is going to get painfully staggered.
Yep, and Hawk's getting back in the mech, so no value out of that because Elivote fed that ult charge to Hawk, and Atlanta Academy rightfully let Hawk get back into the mech. Good heads-up play from them.
And Envy now looking a little bit on the rougher side. 1 Earth Shatter, 1 Sound Barrier, and 1 Rally. Atlanta Academy very close in terms of that ultimate charge. Envy continue to go through that low ground, so this time around they'll take a hop on the fidget spinner, but they all fell off.
A little bit of a gravity tragedy indeed. Team Envy does have Earth Shatter. Gator does too. Which one will find anything if either of them do? Atlanta Academy will have Sound Barrier to keep everyone alive. Earth Shatter going to be knocking 3. Both, 1 support. Crypto is going to be knocked down. Fire is going to have to use that Sound Barrier in response. Fisher has the rally. Trill going to get that first blood onto Gator. This tank matchup has been one for the ages, but right now Trill finding himself on top of that pile.
Yeah, regaining some of that mojo from earlier on in the series. Gator, to his credit, went in very aggressively, but he knew he was doing so. What he didn't expect was the trance to pop at the exact same time. That gave Trill the ability to burn Gator down.
Ooh, Trill getting stunned means that they're not going to have as much defense from keeping Atlanta Academy from the cart, but Team Envy really want to finish this map. There's only 10 seconds left, so this is the last engagement that they will get on the offensive side. Trill did just get Earth Shatter. Oh, and that's going to go through. Hawk, Perfect, and Saucy all on the ground, but Sharp is unable to confirm any of those kills. Is that going to bite them in the end? Ooh. Yes, it will. Is Gator going to get the kill onto Trill? 6v5, 64 now for Atlanta Academy. They did not follow up the damage from their Earth Shatter, and that is why you're seeing Team Envy not complete Junkertown.
They weren't in position to do so, and Crimzo dies to a volley from Saucy when he had the trance in the last second of that fight. He couldn't save his main tank, but he may have still kept things interesting, kept Team Envy in the mix towards the end of that fight. Unfortunately, that's not going to be how the cards fall. So, Atlanta Academy, not bad. There is a win condition. Again, no extra rounds for either of these teams. The cart stopped right before the last point. So all Atlanta Academy have to do is nudge that cart into the golden box of victory.
A little nudge.
A little nudge. A little bit of axle grease.
Yep.
Right?
WD-40. The fixer of everything. Right now, Team Envy need a little WD-40 themselves because not finishing Junkertown is definitely a huge boon to Atlanta Academy, because when you get to attack second, know how you have to meter your ult, how to use your time bank. That's such an advantage for them, and now they can meter everything for this 3rd point, but they have to get there first. And the way that Team Envy's been playing, actually, I could see them holding very long on point A.
And then giving it up at the
yeah, giving it up in overtime, and then letting them steamroll through B, and then having another fight on C. Let's see if I'm going to be correct.
Oh, shaking the magic 8 ball. Team Envy, they're going to hold with Goats. So Atlanta Academy, probably not going to be expecting anything crazy. You can tell that they may be, kicking themselves with the early Moira pick earlier on, so Saucy likely just going to take a gander, or not even that, with the Widowmaker before swapping back to the Zenyatta. We haven't shouted out Saucy as much throughout this series, but he has been playing a very solid game. Actually,
that's good for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, support players, if you can be that fragging Zen or a, playmaking Lucia, that's always great, but if we're not saying your name, as in like, oh, Saucy, not like that, you're still doing pretty good.
Yeah, having a fragging Zen is awesome, but not a requirement, as Team Envy going to go ahead and feign the fact that they're holding a little bit further back, but hey, they're right here, right in front of your faces. Atlanta Academy is hot, getting taken pretty low. Was the only one onto the payload. Everyone else smartly staying on the high ground near their spawn, and so Atlanta Academy just need to push Team Envy a little bit further back. Fisher taken low, Ellie low, Trill stunned, and now is dead. Hawk gonna go ahead and hunt for some more food himself. Gonna take Ellie out of that mech. Team Envy are not gonna last very long in this up-close hold.
No, Fisher got chunked down so much in that very first brawl that he had to use the shield bash to reposition within his team. That is not the kind of value that you want to get from those abilities. You only use it in the most dire situations. And Team Envy exposed themselves to a lot of damage from ATL. Remember, if you hold in the spawn, of course, you do guarantee yourself another shot as we see Envy re-engage, but you're also feeding over so much ultimate charge.
And so Team Envy are gonna be taking Ajax out of this game. Atlanta Academy is on their attack right now. They have Earth Shatter, they have Sugar Freeze Rally at their disposal. Fisher's going to be using his, and it's going to be gone, so that armor's not going to be lasting very long for Team Envy. Oh, and a good eat coming from Ellie. They're a little bit hungry. Is Perfect not going to be able to use that grab? Team Envy, they're holding on A for the time being. Let's see if they're going to hold any longer.
Yeah, whether or not Trill lives or dies in this is going to be huge. Zenyatta in the bubble saves Trill's life. What a play from Team Envy to keep their main tank in the mix. But now they have to use this opportunity to also find a kill because ATL are still bearing down here.
Oh, and now they have a little bit of offensive pressure because of the sound barrier that is going to be responded to by Atlanta Academy. Gator was stunned and is still alive. Sugar Free the only one in that Graviton Surge, and that is enough. But no Briggs on either side. This is still a 5v5. This has been about a minute-long fight for both teams right now. Hawk going to try to take Trill out of some good positioning as Team Envy do own the payload for now. Atlanta Academy are going to come back as their defense spawns a little quicker than Team Envy.
This is some of the most awkward cross-map tension we've ever seen. Both of the teams making eye contact, but neither one of them really wanting to engage meaningfully. But Trill's low again. Ally bubble already burned.
And Transcendence is coming from both sides again, already coming through. Ajax going to be knocked down. So is Perfect. Self-destruct is there. Hawk got to get that double kill, finally opening up this point. Team Envy did take some time off the clock. We didn't quite get to overtime, but a minute and 18 seconds left for them in what I felt like was one long fight throughout the entirety of point A here.
Neither one of them really releasing their hold on the cart ever. They were always within contestation range. So Envy, they managed to escape with their grav still intact, but they will give up the high ground positioning here. Again, if you're going to expose your shield and your bodies to the damage from Atlanta Academy, you have to be doing so with a purpose. In their spawn camp, it did not work out for them. They gave up so much ultimate charge for honestly nothing, only made themselves more weak so that when Atlanta Academy did press the go button, they were well set.
It's one of my favorite staging areas on any map. There's so much brutality that can happen here on the high ground, and the brutality is owned from a Team Envy, causing fatalities onto Atlanta Academy.
I see what you did there, Boop. But more importantly, what was Sugar Free doing there? He alone was on the cart, maybe expecting that Atlanta Academy could survive through that grab. Saucy is only 80% up to the trance right now, so maybe they're just trying to sneak a little bit of free distance, not expecting Sharp to drop the grab so early. But what it means is Atlanta Academy now have to re-engage with the positional disadvantage.
Positional disadvantage, but ultimates are pretty even on both sides. Will the ultimates overcome that positional disadvantage when a fire strike rips through your team like that? The answer is probably no, as look at all of the resources Trill is receiving. The ally barrier, don't need no shield if you're going to be safe.
Hallway is the least optimal place to meet an angry Reinhardt. And Trill's on fire right now, and if he gets his way, he'd like to stay so. Earthshatter at the ready, Team Envy with 5 ultimates. Atlanta Academy nearing 5 or 6 themselves. They just haven't had a chance to really press Q even to get close to the cart.
Now there's going to be a lot of Q pressing for this next fight. The Earthshatter going to go through. Team Envy's going to have one of their own, going to knock Sugarfree onto the ground. Are they going to be able to secure that kill? The Transcendence is there just in time to keep Sugarfree alive, but Gator going to get that pin kill onto Trill. Now Atlanta Academy have a 6v5 and their first opportunity on Street's face to come back onto this payload. 6v4 now. Team Envy right decision to hold on to those ultimates as they will get another opportunity on Streets to defend.
Saw the positioning from Elivote to Envy realizes they've lost the fight. What can we do right now? Just stall out the payload. You drop the Diva body onto there and, you know, just make things a little bit slower for Atlanta Academy. Envy, right now, they still look not too bad, but it is much, much harder to hold on Street's face once you pass that initial curve. So they got to look for some staging ground. This catwalk's certainly a possibility.
But again, they just have to make the game their tempo, right? They have to make the other team play their game, and right now Envy doing that a little bit better than Atlanta Academy. Trill taken very low though. Soundbay are going to keep a lot of Team Envy alive, and I'm going to eat my words once again. Atlanta Academy are in control right now. This is their tempo. They're going to grab this point.
A little bit awkward. Trill went in very deep, but if you watch the wireframe of Crimzo and Fissure, there's really no way that they could have seen their Reinhardt in that small room cut away from any avenues of healing. So a little bit of an over-aggressive play from Trill, undoubtedly. He was the first one to die, and Atlanta Academy accordingly, you know, took that opportunity and ran with it.
I feel like they have like just enough time to get to the end of this map and challenge for this point. 1 minute and 45 seconds for Atlanta Academy and 4 ultimates. Team Envy have what they need for the defense. Looking at the supports, Fissure will be getting that rally in no time as well. Gator's going to be behind the rest of the team. The Earthshatter only going to grab 2 though, and they really needed to make sure that Fire wasn't able to use that sound barrier. Crimzo going to be using the Transcendence as well, layering that just a little bit. Team Envy using the rally. Atlanta Academy using all of their ults right now. Team Envy have an advantage because of those ultimates. Trill gonna knock 4 onto the ground. Everyone that was still alive other than Hawk is gonna be knocked to the ground because of that shatter. Huge shatter from Trill. It's kind of his mainstay at this point. Team Envy got that defense, and there's about 1 minute left for Atlanta Academy. They have got to be sweaty.
Yeah, a little bit sweaty. Oh no! What a way to send a Baby Diva back to respawn. Fire strike to the face. Team Envy, they needed that clutch play from Trill right there. Fire and Crimzo layered their support ultimates, but they honestly had to. Elivote was so close to being demeched throughout that fight. They needed to keep the Diva alive, and because of it now, they will have Bigger Bang available. Sharp could grab him right in this hall.
Atlanta Academy need to win every single fight from here on out if they want to challenge for this point. The Graviton Surge is there. Sound Barrier is as well, and Gator did not live through the Sound Barrier. Team Envy uses the lack of shield. Earthshatter goes down, and Team Envy are going to clean this up, but there's 26 seconds left on the clock. Team Envy did not invest too much either.
No, 3 ultimates still left. Fire 63% up to that Sound Barrier. Perfect and Sugar-Free will be Atlanta Academy's last hope. Envy holding strong on that high ground. You hear the rally pop from Sugar-Free, and wise move from Envy. It only lasts 30 seconds now. Back up. You have a ton of space to give. You don't need to pressure your shield unnecessarily.
Exactly. HamTornado, really good playmaking from Team Envy. Trill gonna get stunned, but Crimson's gonna use this Transcendence, but Elivote goes down. Overtime has initiated. Hawk out of that mech. Everyone in that Graviton Surge so far. Is Trill gonna get the pin kill onto Gator. This could be it for Team Envy and taking this win. Trill does go down, though. Atlanta Academy needs some desperation to come into play, and that desperation needs to make something happen, and right now nothing is happening for Atlanta Academy on this payload. The stall is pretty good from them, actually, to try to get another engage. Some of their members might be able to come back, but no, the payload was a little too far away. Team Envy will be undefeated at the end of this game. Atlanta Academy falling to 1-2 for the season so far, but this was a pretty good fight both ways. I think in the end, Envy was consistently better when it mattered outside of King's Row.
But lots to build upon for Atlanta Academy, undoubtedly. Still good plays from Gator. A different look for this Reinhardt that we've grown to love and we've watched develop through the last season of Contenders and into this one. You were totally right. There is a little bit of that gig, chicken tendies kind of flavor with Gator and Atlanta Academy. They always love to go in. If there's an aggressive way to engage, they'll try and do that, right? But on Horizon Lunar Colony, although they did end up giving up the map, they were playing very differently, pulled back just slightly, and that's something, hopefully Atlanta Academy can take and continue to develop, because while the aggression is a great look, it's always better to not have it be your only look.
Exactly. So if you're going to give a player of the game to someone on this match, Atlanta versus Envy, in which Envy took it 3-1 without needing to finish Junkertown, who's it going to be?
I'm actually going to give it to Crimzo.
Crimzo.
Yeah, hard-working flex support right there. I mean, Crimzo and Fire, both of them pulling out, such incredible plays at moments where, their tanks are like, all right, okay, cool, we're going to tag you guys, and here's the baton, right? And then you have, volleys come in. Fire was actually, one of the, he was able to get a lot of finishing blows, especially on Assault. Not something you see all the time from Lucios, and both of them always staying a safe distance from that CC while still being able to come in and save Trill, who honestly definitely needs to look at his positioning at times, but hey, it ended up working out for Envy.
Yep, their record's still undefeated, so they're going to have a little bit more time to look out for the positioning. I'm going to give a little props to Elivote on that main. That was really nice to see, especially on that first point. Consistent play all around from them, and Team Envy do find themselves at the top of the standings, undefeated alone in Group B. So that's going to be it for Ham and I today. ZP and Avast will be here for our next game. We'll see you all in 6 minutes.